Captain Kim Tae-ho stood on the bridge of the UES Harmony and looked at the stars ahead. 3 months had passed since they left Earth. 3 long months of traveling through empty space to reach this moment. He touched the small photo in his pocket, his wife and daughter back on Earth. They were proud of him for leading humanity's first peace mission to meet aliens. "Captain, we are getting close to the border," said Park Dong-min from his seat at the navigation controls. His young face showed excitement. At 28, he was the youngest member of the crew, but he was very good at his job. Kim Tae-ho nodded. "Good work, Park. How long until we reach Keth 7? 2 hours, sir." The captain walked around the small bridge. The Harmony was not a big ship. It only had 12 people on board, but it was perfect for their mission. They were not here to fight. They were here to make friends. Lee Ji-woo looked up from her science station. She was a smart woman who had studied alien life for many years. "Captain, I am reading strange energy patterns from the planet. I think the Vorthak ships are already waiting for us." "Are they hostile?" asked Yoon Hanul. She was the security chief, but she only had basic weapons on the ship. The Harmony was built for peace, not war. "I don't think so," Lee Ji-woo said. "The patterns look like normal ship engines, nothing that looks like weapons charging." Choi Soo-bin spoke from the communications desk. She was trying to contact the aliens. "Captain, I am getting a response from the Vorthak. They say they are happy to meet us. They want us to come to their big ship for a welcome ceremony." Kim Tae-ho smiled. This was what they had hoped for. "Tell them we accept their invitation. We are honored to meet them." The next 2 hours passed quickly. The crew got ready for the meeting. They put on their best uniforms. Jang Min-ho, the ship's doctor, checked everyone's health. "Remember," he said, "we don't know how their air might affect us. If you feel sick, tell me right away." "Don't worry so much," laughed Park Dong-min. "This is going to be great. We are making history today." The Vorthak planet Keth 7 was brown and rocky. It had 3 moons and was very hot. But the thing that caught everyone's attention was the massive Vorthak ship waiting for them. It was 10 times bigger than the Harmony. It looked like a giant metal mountain floating in space. "Look at the size of that thing," said Yoon Hanul. "It must have thousands of people on it." "That's good," said Kim Tae-ho. "It shows they think this meeting is important too." Choi Soo-bin received another message. "Captain, they are asking us to bring our whole crew to their ship. They say it is part of their tradition. All important visitors must come together." Kim Tae-ho thought about this. It was risky to leave the Harmony empty, but refusing might insult the aliens. "What do you think, Lee Ji-woo?" The science officer looked at her readings again. "I still don't see any weapons pointed at us. Their ship is just sitting there peacefully. I think it's safe." "All right," said the captain. "We all go together, but stay close to each other. If anything feels wrong, we leave quickly." The crew took a small shuttle to the Vorthak ship. The alien ship's docking bay was huge and dark. Strange purple lights showed them where to land. When they stepped out of their shuttle, the air smelled like metal and something sweet. "Stay together," Kim Tae-ho said quietly to his crew. 3 Vorthak aliens came to meet them. The aliens were tall and thin with gray skin. They had 4 arms and big black eyes. They wore long robes that covered most of their bodies. The tallest alien spoke in broken English. "Welcome, humans. I am Vectar. We are happy you came to our space." "Thank you for having us," said Kim Tae-ho. "I am Captain Kim Tae-ho. These are my crew members. We come in peace and friendship." "Yes, peace," said Vectar, but something in his voice sounded strange. "Come, we have prepared special ceremony for you. Very important in our culture." The aliens led them through long hallways. The walls were covered with pictures that looked like battles. Choi Soo-bin whispered to Park Dong-min, "Do you see all these war pictures? I thought they wanted peace." "Maybe. They just like history," Park Dong-min whispered back. They entered a large room with a high ceiling. Hundreds of Vorthak aliens were sitting in seats around the room looking down at them. In the center of the room was a raised platform with strange symbols carved into it. Please, humans, stand on the platform, said Vectar. Kim Tae-ho felt nervous now. What kind of ceremony is this? It is called the strength assessment, said Vectar. We must know if you are worthy to speak with our leaders. All visitors must pass this test. Yoon Hanul moved closer to her captain. Sir, I don't like this, something feels wrong. But it was too late. More Vorthok aliens came into the room. They were bigger than the others and carried strange devices that looked like weapons. What is happening? Asked Lee Ji-woo. Vectar's voice changed. Now it sounded cold and mean. Your species sent diplomats to us. Diplomats are weak. They talk instead of fight. This shows us that humans are weak. We do not talk to weak species. Wait, said Kim Tae-ho, raising his hands. We came here in peace. We want to be friends. Why are you doing this? Because, said Vectar, when we kill you weak ones, your species will send strong warriors to us. Then we can have proper talks. Talks between strong species. The human crew moved closer together. Jang Min-ho spoke quietly. Captain, they're going to kill us. By killing you, Vectar continued, we show your people that we are strong. Then, they will respect us. Then they will send soldiers, not talkers. Kim Tae-ho looked around the room. Hundreds of alien eyes stared at them. Some aliens were holding recording devices. They were going to film this. Please, said Kim Tae-ho. You don't understand. Humans don't work that way. If you kill us, they won't send warriors. They will think you are monsters. Vectar laughed. All species work the same way. Strong ones live. Weak ones die. Your people will understand. They will thank us for making them stronger. Choi Soo-bin grabbed Park Dong-min's hand. The young man's face was white with fear. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm sorry we came here. It's not your fault, said Park Dong-min. We all wanted to make peace. Lee Ji-woo spoke to the aliens one last time. You are making a terrible mistake. Humans are not like other species. We remember everything. We never forget our dead. Good, said Vectar. Then they will remember to send strong ones next time. The captain looked at his crew. These were good people. They had families back on Earth. They had dreams and hopes. They came here to build bridges between worlds. Everyone stay calm, Kim Tae-ho said. Whatever happens, we faced it together. We came here for peace. That was right. That was good. Yoon Hanul nodded. We did the right thing, Captain. The Vorthok warriors raised their weapons. The crowd of aliens watched with excitement. Recording devices captured everything. Tell our families we love them, said Jang Min-ho. Tell Earth we tried, said Lee Ji-woo. Captain Kim Tae-ho stood straight and proud. We are humans. We came in peace. We die with honor. The weapons fired. The 12 humans fell. The Vorthok crowd cheered. Vectar looked at the bodies and nodded with satisfaction. Send this recording to their homeworld. Soon their warriors will come to us. Then we will have a proper war. A war between strong species. But Vectar was wrong. He did not understand humans at all. He thought killing diplomats would bring warriors. Instead, he had just signed the death warrant for his entire species. The recording was sent across space toward Earth. In 6 months, humans would see what happened to their peace mission, and then the Vorthok Empire would learn what human strength really meant. The 12 bodies lay still on the platform. They had come to offer friendship. They died believing in peace. Their sacrifice would not be forgotten. Soon the galaxy would learn that there is nothing more dangerous than humans who have lost those they love. Drank his morning coffee when the message arrived. It was a quiet Tuesday morning at Earth Defense Command. The sun was shining through the windows of his office. He was reading reports about new ship designs when his assistant knocked on the door. Admiral, we received a transmission from deep space. It's marked urgent, said Lieutenant Park Min-soo. What kind of transmission? Asked Song Ji-hoon. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had served in space for 30 years, but he had never fought in a real war. It's from the Vorthok aliens, sir. The ones who met with Captain Kim's ship. Song Ji-hoon smiled. Good news, I hope. Are they ready to start trade talks? The lieutenant's face was pale. Sir, you need to see this yourself. It's very bad. Song Ji-hoon followed the young officer to the communications room. The large screen was black, waiting to play the message. Other officers stood around, looking worried. Play it, said the admiral. The screen came to life. It showed the inside of an alien ship. Hundreds of strange creatures were sitting in seats, watching something in the center of the room. Then the camera moved to show 12 humans standing on a platform. Song Ji-hoon recognized Captain Kim immediately. The brave captain stood with his crew, looking calm, even though he was clearly afraid. The admiral could see that something terrible was about to happen. He watched in horror as the alien leader spoke about strength and weakness. He heard the captain beg for peace. He saw his people stand together holding hands, saying goodbye to their families. When the weapons fired, Song Ji-hoon closed his eyes. But he could still hear the alien crowd cheering. When he opened his eyes, 12 good people were dead on the floor. The message continued. The alien leader looked at the camera and spoke in broken English. Humans, your diplomats were weak. We killed them to make you strong. Send us warriors next time. Then we can have proper war between strong species. The screen went black. Nobody spoke for a long minute. Song Ji-hoon felt sick. These were not just soldiers who died in battle. These were peaceful people who went to make friends. They were murdered for entertainment. How long ago did this happen? He asked quietly. The message took 6 months to reach us, sir. So Captain Kim and his crew died 6 months ago. 6 months. While Earth was celebrating the peace mission, those 12 people were already dead. While their families waited for news, they were already gone. Get me President Lim on the secure line, said Song Ji-hoon. Right now. President Lim Seo-jin was in a meeting when the call came. She was a small woman with short black hair and sharp eyes. She had been president for 3 years and was known for being calm in difficult situations. Admiral, what's so urgent? She asked. Madam President, the Vorthak aliens have murdered our entire diplomatic team, all 12 people. They filmed it and sent us the recording. The president was quiet for a moment. Are you certain? Yes, ma'am. I watched it myself. They killed our people as part of some twisted ceremony. They think it will make us send warriors to fight them. I'm coming to Defense Command right now. Don't show that recording to anyone else until I get there. An hour later, President Lim sat in the secure viewing room with Admiral Song and 5 other top officials. They watched the horrible recording together. Nobody spoke during the 18 minutes of footage. When it ended, the president stood up slowly. Her face was very pale, but her voice was steady. Those monsters killed 12 of our best people. They killed them for fun. They think we will thank them for it. She paused and looked at each person in the room. They are very wrong. Dr. Bae, Young-suk was the government's expert on alien psychology. She was a quiet woman who had studied every alien species humans had met. Madam President, I need to explain something important. The Vorthak don't understand how humans think. What do you mean? Most alien species respect strength above everything else. When they meet someone peaceful, they think that person is weak. They believe that by killing our diplomats, they are teaching us a lesson. What lesson? Asked Admiral Song. They think they are forcing us to become stronger. In their minds, we should be grateful. They expect us to send soldiers next. Time, not diplomats. President Lim shook her head. They have no idea what they've done. No, ma'am. They don't understand that humans form emotional bonds. They don't know that we grieve for our dead. They think we will just send different people and forget about the ones who died. Well, said the president, they are about to learn how wrong they are. The next day, President Lim called an emergency meeting of the World Assembly. Leaders from every nation on Earth came to hear what she had to say. She did not tell them what the meeting was about. The great assembly hall was full. Presidents, prime ministers, and kings sat in their seats, wondering why they had been called together so urgently. President Lim walked to the podium. Behind her was a large screen, still black. She looked out at the crowd of world leaders. "My fellow humans," she began. "Yesterday we learned that our first diplomatic mission to meet alien life has ended in tragedy." The hall became very quiet. 12 of our best people traveled across the galaxy to offer friendship to a species called the Vorthak. They went in peace. They carried no weapons, they brought gifts and offers of trade. She paused and took a deep breath. The Vorthak murdered all 12 of them. They killed them as entertainment. They filmed it and sent us the recording as a message. Angry voices filled the hall. Some leaders stood up, shouting questions. President Lim raised her hand for silence. "The aliens think they have taught us a lesson about strength. They expect us to thank them for killing our people. They want us to send soldiers next time, not diplomats." She turned and looked at the screen behind her. "I am going to show you what they did to Captain Kim Tae-ho and his crew. I warn you, it is very difficult to watch, but you must see it. We all must see it. Because we must decide together how humanity will respond." The lights dimmed. The recording played. World leaders watched in horror as 12 innocent people were murdered by aliens who laughed and cheered. When it ended, the hall was completely silent. President Lim spoke again, her voice now hard as steel. "The Vorthak wanted to see human strength. They killed 12 of our family to force us to show them what we are capable of." She paused and looked around the room. "I say we give them exactly what they asked for." The vote was unanimous. Every nation on Earth agreed. The Vorthak Empire had made the worst mistake in galactic history. Over the next few weeks, the recording was shown to military leaders, scientists, and factory workers. Everyone who saw it had the same reaction: rage, sadness, and determination. Captain Kim's wife spoke at his memorial service. "My husband went to the stars to make friends. He died believing in peace, but his death will not be meaningless. It will teach the galaxy that you cannot murder humans and expect no consequences." General Kwon Min-soo was put in charge of the military response. He was a tough old soldier who had never liked aliens much. Now he had a reason to hate them. "How big is their empire?" he asked his staff. 12 star systems, sir. About 8 billion Vorthak. They control 6 other alien species." "And how many ships do they have?" "Our best guess is about 2,000 warships, sir." General Kwon smiled coldly. "Then we'll build 4,000. No, make it 10,000. I want to be sure." All across human space, factories began working day and night. Every shipyard started building warships. Every mining station sent resources to Earth. Humanity had been peaceful for decades, but now the sleeping giant was waking up. Dr. Bae Young-suk worked with the military planners. "Remember," she told them, "the Vorthak think this is a game. They think war is about honor and glory. They have no idea what total war means." "What should we show them?" asked General Kwon. "Everything," she said. "We show them what happens when you murder human families. We show them that some mistakes cannot be forgiven." 6 months after the recording arrived, humanity was ready. The largest fleet in human history waited at the edge of Vorthak space. Admiral Song Ji-hoon stood on the bridge of the flagship Vengeance, looking at the stars ahead. "Admiral," said his communications officer, "we're receiving a message from the Vorthak. They say they are happy that we finally sent warriors. They want to arrange an honorable battle." Song Ji-hoon thought about Captain Kim and his crew. Good people who died for no reason except alien arrogance. "Send them a message back," he said. "Tell them that honor died with our diplomats. Tell them they wanted to see human strength. Now they will see all of it." The war was about to begin. Commander Shin Ho-jin stood on the bridge of his battleship Iron Will and looked at the enemy fleet ahead. Behind him were 200 human warships, more than any human had ever commanded before. In front of him were 50 Vorthak vessels, waiting in neat formations. "Sir, the aliens are sending us a message," said his communications officer. "Put it on screen," said Shin Ho-jin. A tall Vorthak appeared on the screen. He wore fancy armor with bright colors. "Human warriors, I am war leader Kothvar. We are pleased you finally sent fighters instead of weak talkers. We will have glorious Battle today, may the strongest win. Shin Ho-jin looked at the alien with cold eyes. There will be no glory today, only justice. The alien seemed confused. Justice? What is this word? We fight for honor, not justice. You killed 12 innocent people, now you pay the price. Those were not warriors. They were weak. We did your species a favor by removing weakness. Shin Ho-jin cut off the transmission. He turned to his weapons officer. Target all enemy ships, fire when ready. Sir, shouldn't we wait for them to attack first? It's more honorable to honor? Shin Ho-jin's voice was ice cold. They threw away honor when they murdered our diplomats. Fire all weapons. The human fleet opened fire at once. 200 ships launched thousands of missiles and energy beams. The Vorthak had never seen anything like it. The aliens fought back, but their weapons were slow. Their energy cannons were very powerful, but they took 30 seconds to charge between shots. Human weapons fired continuously. Bullets, missiles, and lasers never stopped coming. Within 10 minutes, 30 Vorthak ships were destroyed. The remaining 20 tried to run away. Don't let any escape, ordered Shin Ho-jin. The galaxy needs to know what happens when you kill humans. Captain O-Bitna commanded the destroyer Vengeance. She was chasing 3 fleeing Vorthak ships by herself. Her ship was much smaller than theirs, but it was faster. Captain, they're turning to fight, said her pilot. Good. I was getting tired of chasing them. The 3 alien ships formed a triangle and fired at the human destroyer. Their heavy weapons hit the Vengeance hard, but the small ship kept moving. O-Bitna used tactics the aliens had never seen. She flew her ship in crazy patterns, making it hard to hit. She would disappear behind asteroids, then come out shooting from a different direction. This is for Captain Kim, she shouted as her ship's guns tore into the first alien vessel. The Vorthak ships were built like fortresses. They had thick armor and powerful shields. But they were slow and clumsy. The human ship danced around them like an angry wasp. One by one, Captain O destroyed all 3 enemy ships. When it was over, she looked at the floating wreckage and felt no joy. This was not about victory. This was about making sure the aliens understood their mistake. The news of the first battle spread quickly through Vorthak space. War leader Vector, the alien who had killed the human diplomats, called an emergency meeting of the Vorthak High Command. The humans fight strangely, he told the other leaders. They do not seek honor. They do not follow proper battle rules. They just try to kill as many of us as possible. Maybe they are still angry about the diplomats, suggested one leader. Impossible, said Vector. No species stays angry for so long. They must be trying to prove they are strong warriors. But Vector was wrong. Humans were not trying to prove anything. They were fighting for revenge. Colonel Ryu Tai-jin led the first ground attack on a Vorthak colony world. The planet was called Keth 5, and it had 2 million Vorthak civilians and 50,000 soldiers. The aliens expected a traditional battle. They thought the humans would land in one place and fight slowly toward their cities. This was how all space wars were fought. This was honorable. Instead, human ships appeared all over the planet at once. Thousands of drop pods fell from the sky like deadly rain. Human soldiers landed everywhere, in cities, in forests, in deserts, in mountains. The Vorthak military had never fought against enemies who attacked from all directions at once. Their soldiers were brave, but they were confused. Human soldiers fought differently than any aliens they had met. When a human was wounded, other humans would risk their lives to save him. When a human was killed, his friends would fight twice, as hard to get revenge. Vorthak soldier Korthmal was defending a military base when the humans attacked. He watched in shock as human soldiers charged straight at his defensive guns even though many would die. Why do they not retreat? He asked his commander. We are killing many of them. I don't know, said the commander. Most species run away when they lose too many warriors, but humans just keep coming. What the aliens didn't understand was that every human soldier carried pictures of Captain Kim and his crew. They knew the names and faces of the 12 murdered diplomats. This was not just a war for them. This was personal. Sergeant Kim So-young led a squad of soldiers against a Vorthak fortress. The fortress was built into a mountain and was supposed to be impossible to capture. Remember why we're here, she told her soldiers. Those aliens killed 12 innocent people who came in peace. They laughed while they did it. They filmed it for entertainment. The soldiers nodded. They all knew the story. Every human in the galaxy knew what happened to the Harmony. The attack on the fortress took 3 days. The humans lost many soldiers, but they never stopped fighting. They climbed the walls at night. They dug tunnels under the defenses. They used explosives to blow holes in the walls. The Vorthak defenders fought bravely, but they had never faced enemies who refused to give up. Even when humans were outnumbered 10-1, they kept fighting. When the fortress finally fell, Sergeant Kim stood on its walls and spoke into her radio. "This is for the Harmony. This is for Captain Kim Tae-ho and his crew." Similar battles were happening all across Vorthak space. Human fleets appeared at every border world. They gave no warnings. They asked for no surrenders. They just attacked. The Vorthak Empire had ruled 12 star systems for 1,000 years. They had conquered 6 other alien species. They thought they were the strongest military force in the galaxy. They were wrong. Admiral Song Ji-hoon received reports from all the battlefronts. In 3 months, human forces had destroyed half of the Vorthak military. 50 planets were under human control. 3 star systems had fallen completely. "Sir," said his aide, "the aliens are asking for a meeting. They want to discuss terms." "What kind of terms?" "They're offering to pay money for the diplomats they killed. They say they will build monuments to honor the dead humans." Song Ji-hoon laughed, but there was no humor in it. "They still don't understand, do they?" "Sir, this isn't about money or monuments. This is about making sure they can never hurt anyone ever again." Meanwhile, on the Vorthak homeworld, Emperor Korthak the Eternal was getting worried. He had ruled for 300 years and had never lost a war. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked his military advisor. "Half of our fleet, Your Majesty. The humans have destroyed over 1,000 ships." "And how many humans have we killed?" "We estimate about 50,000 soldiers." 50,000? We've killed 50,000 of them and they're still attacking?" "Yes, Your Majesty. If anything, they seem to be fighting harder now." Emperor Korthak didn't understand. In his experience, when an enemy lost many warriors, they became weaker, but humans seemed to become stronger with each loss. What he didn't know was that humans saw every dead soldier as another reason to keep fighting. Every funeral made them more determined. Every loss made them angrier. Back on Earth, President Lim Seo-jin spoke to the families of fallen soldiers. "Your sons and daughters died fighting for justice," she told them. "They died making sure that the murder of innocents has consequences." The families were sad, but they were also proud. Their children had died for something important. They had died to show the galaxy that humanity would not accept the slaughter of peaceful people. General Kwon Min-soo was planning the next phase of the war. "How many ships do we have ready?" he asked. 3,000, sir, with more being built every day." "Good. I want to surround their homeworld. I want them to see what real strength looks like." Dr. Bae Young-suk continued to study the aliens. "General, I think they're starting to understand their mistake. They're getting scared." "Good," said the general. "Fear is the beginning of wisdom. Maybe now they'll realize what they've done." But it was too late for the Vorthak Empire. They had killed 12 humans who came in peace. Now they faced millions of humans who came for war. The human fleet was getting bigger every day. More ships arrived from Earth. More soldiers joined the fight. The war machine that humanity had built was just getting started. The aliens had wanted to see human strength. Soon they would see all of it. War leader Korath the Proud walked slowly toward the human ship. He was the best diplomat the Vorthak Empire had. His job was to stop this terrible war before it destroyed everything. The human ship Justice was waiting at the border of Vorthak space. It was not as big as Vorthak ships, but it looked dangerous. Its black metal hull was covered with weapon ports. Inside the ship, Admiral Song Ji-hoon sat at a conference table. He was tired. 6 months of war had aged him. But his eyes were still, hard as steel. "Admiral," said his aide, "the Vorthak diplomat is here. Send him in." Korath entered the room with 2 guards. He was wearing his finest robes and carrying gifts. This was how important meetings always started. Great human warrior, Korath began. I bring greetings from Emperor Korthak the Eternal. We wish to end this conflict with honor. Admiral Song looked at the alien without expression. Speak. We understand that you are angry about the diplomats. It was a cultural misunderstanding. We offer to pay compensation. We will give you rare metals, advanced technology, and territory. Is that all? Korath seemed surprised. We also offer to build monuments to honor your dead. We will teach our children their names. We will remember them forever. Admiral Song stood up slowly. You think this is about money? All conflicts are about resources and territory. We are offering you both. You murdered 12 innocent people. You filmed it for entertainment. You sent us the recording and told us to thank you for it. That was a mistake, Korath said quickly. We did not understand your customs. We thought you would be grateful that we forced you to become stronger. Admiral Song walked to the window and looked out at space. Do you know what those 12 people were doing when you killed them? They were being diplomats. No, they were being human. Song turned back to face the alien. Li Jiwoo was writing a letter to her mother. Park Dong-min was planning his wedding. Choi Soo-bin was learning your language so she could talk to your people better. Korath shifted uncomfortably. They were just doing their jobs. They were trying to make friends with you. They believed that all intelligent life could live in peace. You killed them for that belief. We understand your anger. But continuing, this war will hurt both our peoples. Admiral Song sat back down. You still don't understand. This isn't about territory or resources. This is about justice. What justice do you want? We want to make sure you can never hurt anyone ever again. Korath's face went pale. You cannot mean to destroy our entire civilization. You wanted to test our strength. This is our strength. You will face the full consequences of your actions. The meeting ended quickly after that. Korath rushed back to his ship and sent an urgent message to the Vorthak homeworld. The humans will not negotiate, he reported. They want total war. Emperor Korthak could not believe it. Total war? Over 12 diplomats? That makes no sense. But humans did not think like other aliens. Other species fought until they achieved their goals. Humans fought until their enemies could never threaten them again. Lieutenant Commander Yang So-young was an expert in psychological warfare. Her job was to break enemy morale without killing anyone. She had studied alien minds for years. Admiral, she reported to Song Ji-hoon, I have a new plan to weaken their will to fight. What kind of plan? We broadcast the names and stories of our 12 diplomats before every battle. We tell the Vorthak soldiers exactly who they murdered and why. Will that work? Their soldiers are starting to realize that this war is their fault. Some of them are having doubts about fighting. Yang So-young's plan worked better than expected. Before each battle, human ships would broadcast messages about Captain Kim and his crew. They told how Kim had a wife and daughter, how Park Dong-min was going to be married, how Li Jiwoo studied alien cultures because she loved learning about other species. The Vorthak soldiers learned that the humans they were fighting were here to avenge good people who had been murdered for no reason. It made many of them feel guilty and afraid. Major Han Woo-jin was in charge of a new strategy called Scorched Galaxy. When Vorthak worlds refused to surrender, humans would take everything valuable and leave the planet empty. We don't kill civilians, Han explained to his officers. But we take all their technology, all their resources, and all their weapons. We move the population to refugee camps on empty moons. What about their cities? We tear them down. We want them to start over from nothing. When other aliens see what happened here, they will think twice before attacking humans. This strategy terrified the Vorthak more than regular warfare. Other aliens had conquered their planets before, but they had always allowed the Vorthak to keep their culture and cities. Humans were erasing everything. On the planet Keth 3, Vorthak civilians watched as human machines tore down their greatest monuments. Buildings that had stood for 1,000 years were reduced to rubble in days. "Why are they doing this?" asked a young Vorthak mother. "Because," said an old Vorthak teacher, "we killed their peacemakers. We thought it would make them respect us. Instead, it made them hate us. The human soldiers were not cruel to the civilians. They gave them food, water, and medical care, but they destroyed everything else. They wanted the galaxy to see what happened when you murdered human diplomats." Fleet Admiral Park Gun-ho was preparing for the final assault. 500 human ships surrounded the Vorthak homeworld of Vorth Prime. It was the largest fleet in human history. "Sir," said his communications officer, "Emperor Korthak wants to speak with you." "Put him on screen." Emperor Korthak appeared on the display. He was very old and looked tired. "Human Admiral, I wish to surrender my empire to you." "Unconditional surrender?" "Yes. We will give you everything. Just please stop this war." Admiral Park thought about the 12 murdered diplomats. "It's too late for surrender, Emperor. You had 6 months to surrender. You chose to keep fighting. We were defending our homes. You were defending the civilization that murdered innocent people for entertainment. That civilization ends today. You cannot destroy an entire world. We have billions of people here. We won't hurt your people. But your empire is finished, your military is finished, your government is finished." Emperor Korthak looked desperate. "Please, my people will learn. We will never hurt humans again. We're making sure of that." The Emperor tried one last time. "The galaxy will see you as monsters if you destroy us." "Admiral," Park's voice was cold as space, "the galaxy will see us as the species that ends civilizations which murder diplomats. That is exactly the message we want to send." Dr. An Junseo had worked for 2 years to create humanity's ultimate weapons. He was a quiet man who normally designed peaceful things like medical equipment and farming tools. But the murder of the diplomats had changed him. "Admiral," he reported to Park Gun-ho, "all weapons are ready for deployment. What will happen to their defenses? Their orbital defense grid will be offline in 6 hours. Their planetary shields will fall in 12 hours. After that, we can land troops anywhere we want." The weapons Dr. An had created were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Kinetic bombardment platforms dropped tungsten rods from orbit. Each rod hit with the force of a nuclear bomb, but without radiation. EMP weapons shut down electronics across entire continents. Nanoswarm clouds ate through metal like acid. But the most terrifying weapon was psychological. Before the attack began, humans broadcast a message to every screen on Vorth Prime. Captain Lee Da-eun spoke for all humanity. "People of the Vorthak Empire, we are here because your leaders murdered 12 innocent humans. Captain Kim Tae-ho, Lee Ji-woo, Park Dong-min, Choi Soo-bin, Yoon Ha-neul, Jang Min-ho, and 6 others came to your space in peace. They brought gifts and offers of friendship. Your leaders killed them for entertainment." The message continued. "We do not hate your people, but your empire ends today. We will make sure that no one ever again thinks they can murder human diplomats without consequences." As the message played, human weapons began their work. The mighty defense grid that had protected Vorth Prime for 10,000 years fell in 6 hours, just as Dr. An had promised. The Vorthak Empire, which had ruled 12 star systems and conquered 6 alien species, collapsed in a single day. Emperor Korthak was captured alive as his palace fell around him. He would be put on trial for war crimes. The galaxy would see that murdering diplomats had consequences. When it was over, Admiral Park stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked down at the conquered homeworld. There was no joy in victory. This had never been about conquest. This had been about justice. "Sir," said his aide, "what are your orders for the Vorthak population? Scatter them across the galaxy. Break up their empire. Make sure they can never unite again to threaten anyone." The aide nodded. "And their homeworld?" "We leave it empty. A monument to what happens when you kill those who come in peace." The Baosh War was over. The Vorthak Empire was finished. But the real message was just beginning to spread across the galaxy. The Vorthak homeworld Vorth Prime had never fallen in 10,000 years of history. Its orbital defense platforms could destroy entire fleets. Its planetary shields could stop any attack. Its underground cities could survive for decades without outside help. Emperor Korthak. The Eternal stood in his war room looking at displays that showed the approaching human fleet. 500 ships surrounded his world like angry metal stars. "How many ships do we have left to defend the homeworld?" he asked his military commander. 60 ships, Your Majesty." The humans destroyed the rest. 60 against 500. The Emperor was quiet for a moment. "Can our defenses hold them?" "Our defense grid has never been broken, Your Majesty. It will take them months to break through if they can do it at all." But the Emperor was worried. These humans fought differently than any enemy he had ever faced. They did not follow the normal rules of war. They did not care about honor or glory. They only cared about revenge. On the human flagship Final Justice, Captain Lee Da-yun prepared for the last battle of the war. She was young for a captain, only 32 years old, but she had fought in every major battle against the Vorthak. "Captain," said her weapons officer, "Dr. On's special weapons are ready to deploy." "Good. How long will it take to break their defenses?" 6 hours for the orbital platforms, 12 hours for the planetary shields." Lee Da-yun nodded. She looked at the picture on her desk. It showed Captain Kim Tae-ho and his crew, smiling and happy before they left on their peace mission. They had no idea they were going to die. "This is for you, Captain Kim," she said quietly. The attack began at exactly noon, Earth time. The humans had planned everything perfectly. First, they used EMP weapons to shut down the Vorthak communications. The aliens could not coordinate their defenses. Next came the kinetic bombardment. Tungsten rods fell from space like spears of metal. Each rod was only 2 meters long, but it hit the planet with the force of a nuclear bomb. The orbital defense platforms exploded one by one. Emperor Korthak watched in horror as his mighty defenses crumbled. "How are they doing this?" "Our shields should stop those weapons. The rods are too fast, Your Majesty. They punch right through the shields." "What about our response? Are we hitting their ships?" "No, Your Majesty. They stay too far away. Our weapons cannot reach them." The humans had learned from every battle. They knew exactly how far Vorthak weapons could shoot. They stayed just outside that range and destroyed everything from a safe distance. Then came the nanoswarms. Billions of tiny machines, each one smaller than a grain of sand. They ate through metal like hungry insects. The planetary shield generators began to fail as the machines consumed their power cables. "Your Majesty," said the military commander, "the shields are down to 50% power. Can we stop these machines?" "No, Your Majesty. They're too small to shoot, and there are too many of them." Emperor Korthak had lived for 800 years. He had conquered dozens of worlds. He had never been defeated, but now he was watching his empire die. "Send a message to the human fleet," he said. "Tell them I want to surrender." "Your Majesty, we can still fight. Our underground cities are strong." "No, this is over. I will not watch my people die for my mistakes." The message was sent, but Captain Lee Da-un's response was cold. "You had your chance to surrender. You chose to keep fighting. Now you face the consequences." The bombardment continued. The mighty defense grid that had protected Vorth Prime for centuries was destroyed in 6 hours, exactly as Dr. On had predicted. When the planetary shields fell, human dropships began landing. Thousands of soldiers poured out, carrying weapons and determination. They had one mission: capture Emperor Korthak alive. Commander Nam Hyun-woo led the assault on the Imperial Palace. He was a veteran of 30 battles against the Vorthak. He had seen too many good humans die because of this war. "Remember," he told his soldiers, "we want the Emperor alive. The galaxy needs to see him put on trial." The palace was huge, built into a mountain and protected by the best Vorthak soldiers. But human troops moved through it like water flowing downhill. They used tactics the aliens had never seen. Some humans attacked from the front, making noise and drawing attention. Others came from the sides and back. Still others tunneled underneath. The Vorthak defenders did not know where to look. Vorthak General Korthtek made his last stand in the throne room. He had 50 soldiers with him, all that remained of the palace guard. "Humans," he shouted as Commander Nam entered the room. "You fight without honor, you use cowards' weapons." "We use whatever works," said Nam Hyun-woo. "You killed our diplomats, honor died with them." The final battle in the throne room lasted only 10 minutes. The Vorthak fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. When it was over, Emperor Korthak stood alone among the bodies of his guards. "I surrender," he said quietly. "Commander." Nam looked at the old alien who had ruled an empire for 300 years. "Emperor Korthak the Eternal, you are under arrest for war crimes. You will be taken to Earth to stand trial. What will happen to my people? They will be scattered across the galaxy. Your empire is finished. Your military is disbanded. Your government is dissolved." The emperor sat down heavily on his throne. "All of this because of 12 diplomats? All of this because you murdered 12 innocent people and thought we would thank you for it." Within hours, the news spread across the galaxy. The Vorthak Empire, which had existed for 1,000 years, was gone, destroyed in less than a year by a species they had tried to teach about strength. Other alien civilizations watched in shock. The Zephyrians, who had fought the Vorthak for centuries without winning, sent a message to Earth. "We did not know humans were so powerful. We request peaceful relations." The Crystalline Collective, an ancient species that avoided all contact with others, broke their isolation to send greetings. "We have observed your response to unprovoked aggression. We approve. We wish to establish diplomatic ties." Even the proud Stellar Federation, who had never acknowledged any species as equals, sent ambassadors to Earth. "We respect human strength. We offer alliance." But the most important message came from a small species called the Quiet Ones. They had been enslaved by the Vorthak for 200 years. "Thank you," their message said simply. "Thank you for freeing us. Thank you for showing that evil has consequences." 1 year after the war ended, Commander Nam Hyun-woo returned to the former Vorthak homeworld. He was not there to fight. He was there to build something. 12 ships hung in orbit around the empty planet. Each ship was named after one of the murdered diplomats. They would stay there forever, broadcasting a message to anyone who came near. Nam stood on the bridge of the Kim Tae-ho and recorded the message himself. "This is the memorial fleet of the Human Federation. We stand watch over this world to remember 12 good people who died for the crime of seeking peace. Captain Kim Tae-ho came here with friendship in his heart. Lee Ji-woo came here hoping to learn about alien culture. Park Dong-min came here, dreaming of a galaxy where all species could live together. They were murdered by creatures who mistook kindness for weakness. Those creatures learned too late that there is nothing more dangerous than humans who have lost someone they love. We are not conquerors, we are not empire builders, but we remember our dead and we protect our own. Choose your actions wisely." The message was broadcast in every language known to the galaxy. Every alien species heard it. Every civilization understood it. 5 years later, Ambassador Choi Min-jung stood before the Galactic Council. She was the daughter of communications officer Choi Subin, one of the 12 who died on the Harmony. She had become a diplomat like her mother, but the galaxy she worked in was very different. "My mother died seeking peace," she told the assembled aliens. "She believed that all intelligent life could learn to live together. I still believe that too. But peace is not weakness. Diplomacy is not surrender. When you treat our diplomats with respect, you get the best of humanity. When you harm them, you get the worst." She gestured to a holographic display showing the memorial fleet. "Those 12 ships will remain there forever, not as a threat, but as a promise that humanity will never forget those who die in service of peace." The alien delegates listened in silence. They all knew the story. Every child in the galaxy learned about the Vorthak Empire and what happened to species who murdered diplomats. Trade agreements were signed quickly now. Border disputes were settled peacefully. Diplomatic immunity was considered sacred law. No one wanted to test humanity's patience again. Back on Earth, in a small garden behind the Space Academy, 12 trees grew in perfect formation. Each tree had a small plaque with a name and dates. Students would come here to study and remember. The trees were still young, but they were growing strong. Like humanity itself, they had been planted in soil watered by sacrifice. They would grow tall and spread their branches wide, sheltering future generations who would learn the cost of peace.